having regard to the impressive recycling figures being delivered by Vale Royal, Ellesmere Port and Neston authorities, and your assurances that Chester will deliver 40% recycling by 2010, and noting the 68% recycling figures this month delivered by the Winsford Household Waste Centre, do you still maintain yet another incinerator is needed to dispose of household waste located in Northwich, or is it now time to put people of Northwich out of their misery by saying enough's enough?
The overall tonnages, I would still estimate, are still going to be significant and will need to be dealt with. As far as the procurement project is concerned, there are a whole range of different treatment processes that are involved here. Yes, incineration is one of them, but there are other processes as well in the frame, and hopefully the evaluation process will give them due weight as well.
My question really concerns the environment, and there is a lot of concern of the people of Cheshire generally, and a lot of concern of the people of Northwich in particular about some of the plans for dealing with waste over the next 25-30 years. So although the Shadow Council might think that this in fact is a kind of decision which is not on their doorstep, you will be saddled with it for the next 25-30 years. So, you know, word of warning, it's not something you should take lightly. I just want to dwell on the case of global warming. Global warming, when the Cheshire Waste Plan report was written 5 years ago, I don't think it was even mentioned in the actual report because it wasn't at the forefront of everybody's mind. It is now. I fully appreciate that when you're going through a PFI contract, that the commercial details have to be confidential. I've spent 40 years of my life dealing with PFI contracts, so I do know, in fact, the rules. But a lot of other considerations ought to be more transparent. Some of the environmental considerations can and should be more transparent. Could I get the assurance of the people in this room that we will give a little bit more transparency to some of the non-commercial aspects of this waste contract?
I think the difficulty as far as commercial confidentiality is concerned, and as far as I am concerned at the moment, is that I don't think I can give a blanket answer to that question, because every particular question about the release of information, which might or might not be commercially confidential, does have connotations for the tenderers, and it does require advice from the lawyers, and it does require advice from the people who are procuring the contract and who are holding the ring, as it were, and ensuring fair competition. I mean, just for the sake of example, if you release information about, say, the carbon footprint of any particular method, and it is an aspect of the tendering process, clearly, and it is taken into, or will be taken into consideration in the evaluation of it. But if you do release information about one person's carbon footprint, and they have taken some considerable and far-reaching steps to achieve a favourable carbon footprint in their process, and that information gets out to other tenderers and so on, and other tenderers are doing less, maybe, and say the first tenderer thinks, well, they're doing less, I don't have to do as much, and I don't have to spend as much money doing this process. I'm just putting a hypothetical example here of the kind of situation that can come about if you start releasing information about a particular tenderer's processes. And I mean, whether or not information can be released, I think is something that does need very careful consideration before I could say, yes, it can be.
You made a couple of comments, sir. Sorry, I don't know your name, sir.
Brian Cartwright.
Brian Cartwright. Where you said, you sort of implied that we'll be taking these decisions lightly. Please be assured we will not be taking these decisions lightly. At the moment, we have no input into these decisions other than as a consultee within the process.
Even though you stuck for the next 25-30 years?
No, until the 1st of April. Then, that all, no, well, it's not incredible, because that's the law. That's where we stand. And the legal responsibility for delivering of these services is with the County Council and with the District Councils. On the 1st of April, it transfers to us as a new council, and we have no excuse then.
So you do it after the 1st of April?
Until the 1st of April, we have...
But after the 1st of April, you'll support what we're asking for?
No, on the 1st of April, the decisions will be with us.
And in that process,
there is a planning process as well, in which this information, as Councillor Ritchie has said, will be exposed as part of the environmental impact study. There is a requirement for plan applications. So this information will be open and available and challengeable, and the people who have tendered, the companies that have tendered, recognise that and will enable that for you to comment on and others. But please understand, this is not a light subject, and we understand the serious implications of the subject. And Hampshire, I think it was Hampshire that was quoted, who built their incineration project some 10 or 15 years ago, and now find 2/3 of it, I think, from memory, is underused because of the level of recycling that's increased. And that's had a massive financial impact on that council. So we do understand the seriousness and the length of time that this takes place. And all I can assure you is this is not taken lightly. And once we get full control, we will look at it, and it may be we can do things differently that will satisfy some of the very serious concerns that you've expressed tonight. Okay?
Just one very quick one back to Richard. I understand that different contractors will have different means and different technologies for doing it, but you know, a ton of waste burn produces roughly a ton of carbon dioxide. And you know, if you work that figure out on 350,000 tonnes per year, that is a hell of a lot of motor cars. And it doesn't matter which contractor, because all mass burns are the same. Believe you me, I've got more experience than anybody in this room on mass burns. And if you take a mechanical biological treatment plant and a pyrolyzer, you'll get a different figure. It's very, very, very much less. And I think people should know that. Because that's not commercial, that's not financial, that's a matter of fact. Technical.
Mr. Carter, well, I hope you see that meetings such as this are a way to get that sort of information out in the public domain.
Yes, we'll keep trying.
No, absolutely. And I pose the question, you know, other authorities could have had these sorts of debates and consultations in the open forum that we're trying to do now. This is a way we are trying to be open going forward. So whilst I cannot comment on how Cheshire County Council and others have dealt with public consultation in the past, we are certainly trying to be different going